Anyone here? This place is disproportionate. Good morning. Let me introduce myself, Inspector Jack Norm. I'm here to conduct the investigation on the death of Mr. Jones.
Inspector Norm. Very good. Very good. I am Martin Abruzzi, the husband of Sonia Jones, the granddaughter of the deceased.
May I photograph your shoes?
If this will be of use to you, Inspector, go ahead.
Thanks.
I assume you want to question me, so go on then.
I'm surprised that Colio, even if he was angry at Jones, was not more grateful for his generosity.
I don't know anything about this, Inspector.
What do these gifts from Jones hide? Why did he want to assure the future of Colio and his daughter?
I was unaware of all of this.
What can you tell me regarding the death of Walter Jones?
Mr. de Noland had us all come together in the restaurant to give us the tragic news. It was a terrible shock for us, as you might suspect. Outside, the storm was raging. Abominable weather. It would have been madness to go out and risk our lives. Because in truth, we couldn't have brought poor Mr. Jones back to life.
Where were you and what were you doing last night?
I spent the evening at the restaurant with my wife Sonia and the other guests until the departure of Mr. Jones. I returned to my suite at around 10:30 p.m. to read a manuscript, and I soon went to bed. It was Sonia who woke me up to tell me about the tragedy that had taken place.
What was your relationship with Walter Jones?
I certainly won't try to play any games with you, Inspector, and I won't surprise you if I tell you that I didn't have much affection for this man. He was the grandfather of my wife, full stop. That's it. A grandfather who was not particularly likable. He didn't behave very well with Sonia and me, and I have not forgotten. Therefore, his death truly doesn't affect me.
This menu seems utterly appetizing. Tell me, what are we eating today?
I admit I'm not a lover of this kind of sophisticated cuisine, Inspector.
This tower on this wild island, far from everything, isn't it madness?
If I had been in charge of promoting this hotel, I would definitely have chosen a sales brochure that was less flashy, Inspector. It is pretentious and ridiculous. It's brash to tell you what I really think. But it seems to work on you, Inspector.
What luxury. For some, the world is all roses. But where did the staff go? I don't see them.
I don't know, and to tell you the truth, I don't care. And what's more, Mr. Jones was extremely rich. He did whatever he fancied with his money, after all.
Who is the rightful owner of this piece of chain?
I confess I haven't the foggiest idea.
I'm wondering whose shoe prints these are.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't wear that kind of shoes.
I'm told that an accident left Baina mute. What is that about?
I don't know anything. My wife spoke to me about it. I know that Jones and Baina had a fall together that could have been fatal, but I don't know anything more.
I would love it if you could tell me a little about Sonia.
I'm badly placed to answer you with any objectivity, Inspector. Sonia is my wife. Sonia is the woman I love. Sonia is the woman of my life. She is irreplaceable for me.
What do you think of Colio?
I didn't have the chance to spend much time with Colio, Inspector. I don't really know him.
What do you know about Lorenzo Battaglieri?
Delicate question, Inspector. I take Lorenzo to be a whimsical creature, somewhat unreliable, and is commonly considered to be an incompetent to boot.
What do you think of Baina?
Baina? The untamed young girl? What can I say? I have the impression that maybe she isn't entirely a stranger to Walter Jones's death.
Why would Baina have something to do with Walter Jones's death?
I know the old man ran after her a little. That surely couldn't have been to her taste.
What do you think of the attorney, Hubert de Noland?
I cannot comment on Mr. de Noland for the simple reason that I do not know him, Inspector.
Did you see anyone at the Tortoise Belvedere last evening, or did anything at all catch your attention?
I'm afraid I won't be very useful to you, Inspector. I had dinner with the guests and with Mr. Jones. I stayed for a bit after the old man had left for his evening walk. It must have been around 10 p.m. Then I went back to my apartment. Well, the suite that was reserved for Sonia and me. It was around 10:30 p.m. I wanted to finish reading a manuscript. I'm a publisher, as you certainly must already know. So I read and then I slept. I confess I was pretty exhausted by the trip.
Do you know anything about medicine?
Of course not.
Too bad. I really need some medical advice. Well, I will wait for the coroner's report. I have to believe you. Thanks. Good morning, sir. I'm Jack Norm, police inspector. I'm mandated to conduct the investigation on the death of Mr. Walter Jones.
Good morning, Mr. Inspector Jack Norm. It's funny, your name rings a bell. Well, anyway, I'm Billy Jones, grandson and soon heir of the late Walter Jones. Well, at least I hope so.
May I photograph your shoes?
To each his own, Inspector. Go ahead.
Thanks. I'm hoping to ask you some questions. I'm surprised that Colio, even if he was angry at Jones, was not more grateful for his generosity.
Well, I really have no idea, Norm. I'm not in the loop.
What do these gifts from Jones hide? Why did he want to assure the future of Colio and his daughter?
No, I have no idea.
What can you tell me regarding the death of Walter Jones?
I found out about the death of the old man like everyone else at around 11:30 p.m. It was Nolan, his right-hand man, who informed us. This guy risked his life to save the old miser. Unbelievable, huh? The daughter of the fisherman, Cotillo, whatever. She's apparently involved.
Where were you and what were you doing last night?
I was absorbed in a hand of poker and I was having pretty good luck. With Sonia and Martin for partners, and Nolan, the attorney of my grandfather, came to inform us of the death.
What was your relationship with Walter Jones?
Yeah, I don't really want to tell you stories about my family. What I can tell you is that I had 1,000 reasons to detest the old man. But I immediately reassure you, Norm, the death of my grandfather took me completely by surprise.
Tell me more about your reasons for hating your grandfather, please.
Principally to do with money, Inspector. I've got a fair bit of debt and my super-rich grandfather never wanted to lend me a cent. But if you want to go there, I would never kill anyone for money. Or anything else for that matter.
This menu seems utterly appetizing. Tell me, what are we eating today?
I'm not a fan of this stuff, Norm. Moreover, the chef was given the boot, we're told. The old man told us to cope by ourselves.
This tower on this wild island, far from everything, isn't it madness?
It's all bullshit, this tower. There's not even a game room here. Not one, Inspector. Can you believe that?
What luxury. For some, the world is all roses. But where did the staff go? I don't see them.
All I can tell you is that my grandfather was a genius at throwing money out the window, and at never letting his relatives benefit. You know, deep down, it doesn't surprise me that things happen this way.
Walter Jones gave this to Baina, didn't he? What were the bonds that connected them?
Listen, man, I'm not a saint and I have my faults, but I think that the old man was really revolting to want to fuck this girl.
Who is the rightful owner of this piece of chain?
Sorry, but I don't know anything about this, Norm.
I'm wondering whose shoe prints these are.
How am I supposed to know, Inspector? I'm not a shoemaker.
I'm told that an accident left Baina mute. What is that about?
A dark family story, Jack. My grandfather never wanted to tell us what happened between him and Baina that day. What is sure is that both of them fell from the top of the rocks. Since then, the old man was in a wheelchair, and the island bird didn't say another word. In my opinion, it was a love story that turned bitter.
I would love it if you could tell me a little about Sonia.
Sonia's my sibling, dude. She's an awesome, intelligent, and generous woman, always attentive to the needs of others. In short, she's a super sister.
What do you think of Colio?
Sorry, man, I don't know him.
What do you know about Lorenzo Battaglieri?
Lorenzo has talent, and those who tell you otherwise are lying and probably jealous. He's my friend, and I find it disgusting that he was put aside by Nolan and my grandfather. Lorenzo was in a way their scapegoat, you know?
What do you think of Baina?
Ah, Baina. That natural, young, beautiful, and mute girl who makes men's heads turn. Well, except mine, of course.
I would like to know more about Martin.
Martin? Yeah, great guy. One shouldn't tease him too much, you know. He's rather susceptible, but otherwise okay.
What do you think of the attorney, Hubert de Noland?
Ha! Nolan. He's a real poet, huh? If I could earn a tenth of what he does thanks to his shrewdness at robbing the IRS, then I can tell you I'd be rich.
Did you see anyone at the Tortoise Belvedere last evening, or did anything at all catch your attention?
I didn't see anything of what was happening outside. I was absorbed in a hand of poker with Sonia and Martin.
Do you know anything about medicine?
No. Sorry, man.
In that case, you can't help me. Thank you for the information.